Kenyan politics, and we get to hear our guest's opinion on what has been happening in the political arena, especially over the weekend. Now, today I am joined by a familiar face, that is Bwana Daniel Thuku. Welcome very much to the set. You're still a businessman, right?
Right.
Has anything changed between the last time you were here and now?
No.
Right.
I am a God-fearing businessman. Yes.
Okay. Welcome very much to the set.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, I want us to start with a story of the budget. The budget proposal rather was released last week, and it was read by Treasury CS Kuria. Now, the Deputy President's team, that is the Kenya Kwanza team, came out yesterday to claim that budget has been tailored to oppress Kenyans even more. So you, as a Kenyan, and in fact as one who is in business, do you think the budget proposal is for the Kenyans, or has it been made to look as though it is against you?
Thank you so much, Kelvin, to have me here this morning.
You're welcome.
My dear viewer, you are talking of a proposal. Whatever was presented was a proposal.
Yes.
What does it mean? Is a proposal which can be amended. Is a proposal that someone else can reject it. It's a proposal whereby people can sit down and amend it. So it's just a proposal. So what was done by CS is what the government is intending to do for the next fiscal year. And it was presented to them via National Assembly as it is required by the law. Now it is now upon the Parliament to debate it, is upon the Parliament to amend it, is upon the Parliament to see whether those proposals are okay to Mwananchi. If somebody feels that the proposals are so harsh to Mwananchi, he or she has got that right to go and debate it and bring back their own proposals in reference with what Kuria Atan presented to the National Assembly. That is my humble view. Number two, allow me to say this. We are now on electioneering period in this country. Everything is all about campaign. Everything is about election. So the moment, Kevin, you talk of something, the other party will look for a loopholes of what you said, what you did, so that they can be able to counter you. And that is what has been happening. And that is why you find to the other countries, especially from European countries and other developed countries, they don't necessarily make their own issues through campaigns, like a budget, or any other, what I can term it as home affairs issues. You don't go and parade it out there. There are so many avenues, because that is why we have a National Assembly, that is why we have a Senate, and actually that is also again, that is why we have a county assemblies. For the members who has been duly elected by Wananchi to go and amend or debate for a certain debate, because it's not about the budget. There are so many things that should be done by the Parliament, and in this case I mean the entire houses, from Assembly to the Senate. There are so many things that they can discuss. There are so many things. But because of the self-centered issues of a certain group of people, and I'm not of any group whatsoever. No. I'm not fighting for any group. That is why you find that our dear African countries, not even Kenya, we have been dragging behind. You know, time is funny. We waste our time for nothing. We waste our time debating nothing. It's like chasing weed. But you find that time you have wasted doing that thing, you never get it, because already the time has gone. But if you could have, if the members of the Parliament, because these are the members of the Parliament, because Wajiko, I and you, we cannot debate about it because it is already on the hands of the National Assembly as it is required by the law. So if these guys, they can go back to the National Assembly. We see them in the National Assembly, chambers, talking and debating, talking about the border people, whereby Okuria Atani just proposed or suggested that these people, they require to have a comprehensive insurance for their passengers, which is very okay. Now and then we have been having a lot of mess in our roads. The government is trying to treat so many people as a result of a personal accident via border. So if at all, that person can be comprehensively covered, you know, now the insurance companies will take charge. Instead of finding people who maybe, God forbid, they have died via road accidents, or they have been maimed via road accidents through border, they have got nowhere to go. Because the motorcycle, already it is under PSV, and again, it is under what we call the third party. So in my case, and this is my humble case to my dear viewer, is that whatever they are saying, if at all they are not doing it politically, to gain some political miles, it is good. But if they are doing it just to praise Wajiko because of their vote, now I understand that we are already heading to doom. But I have been wondering, what kind of a country is this, whereby we shall keep on cleaning our dirty linens on public? What is too hard for the deputy president to reach to the president? What is too hard? You want to tell me that the deputy president doesn't have Mr. President's mobile number?
Well, I cannot speak as to whether
No.
communicate
That's an
or not.
assumption. You want to tell me, my dear viewer Kenyans, you want to tell me, Deputy Ruto, DP Ruto, you don't have Mr. President's number? You know, these things are funny. You can just take a call and tell Mr. President this and this and this and this and this. Instead of just going to the public and announcing these issues. Sometimes I really wonder, where are we heading as a country? We are fathers. You find a very grown-up, educated, documented Kenyan speaking almost nonsense on public. And yet we have got so many youth. What kind of a picture are we portraying to our young people who are growing up?
Well, before we get into too much politics, you as a Kenyan, do you think, having listened to the budget proposal, do you think it will result in lowered standards of living, or are we as Kenyans supposed to brace for tougher times to come?
In fact, let me be honest with you. Every day, life is getting expensive. Daily. It is not in Kenya only. The entire Europe, you find even some countries in Europe, they are just struggling with the economy. Look at a country like Sri Lanka. Look at a country like Pakistan. Today, the entire citizens, they are on the streets. They have been on streets. So what does it mean? So the economy is not a Kenyan economy. The economy is ailing worldwide. This is as a result of COVID-19. You know, we are not expecting such a thing that may strike the entire world. But a certain thing came called COVID-19, which struck the entire world. Have you ever heard of lockdowns? Lockdowns to nearly every country across the globe. Yeah? And you know, as I have told of time, so the time that we wasted during that COVID time, the amount of resources that every government used to cover her people during that time, and so many other things that which was not expected, but it came. So by the end of the day, what do we expect? We have to expect the results of the same. If you sit for an exam, finally you will expect for results of the same exam. Isn't it so?
Yes.
So if somebody right now is thinking that life is becoming a little bit easier, actually he or she is cheating himself or herself. In fact, even the next government, the life will be more expensive to dear Kenyans, even to the next government. Ask me why.
Why?
What will be what will be the difference? The members of the parliament, the size of the parliament will remain the same. The size of the Senate will remain the same. The size of the county assemblies across 47 counties will remain the same. So, Bwana Kevin, where and or how can somebody come and tell us the life will be a little bit easy when we take the government?
So are you then saying that we should not believe in the bottom-up approach for being fronted by the Kenya Kwanza team, or the trickle-down one being fronted by the Azimio One Kenya coalition?
I can tell you before dear Kenyans and before God, whatever either party they are trying to tell Kenyans, those are what we call white elephant issues. It cannot work. How will it work? How will it work? Where will they get those resources they're talking about? The population is growing daily. The needs of the Kenyan population is again growing daily. You know, it is important to speak the truth, because the truth will remain there, and the truth will set us every person free. It will remain there. It will remain. Like now, across the globe, we have got a problem of fuel. A problem of fuel. Many vehicles are empty. Many petrol stations and fuel stations are empty. They are running dry. It is not in Kenya. It is not in Uganda. It is not even in Tanzania. Talk of Europe. You see the President Biden the other day assenting a bill for the reserved fuel to be utilized in the US. A reserved fuel. They have been reserving those fuels for many years. But the time has come. So, as a result, it is so much important. Whatever they are saying, if they will implement, I would say if any party will implement whatever kind of promises they are offering to Kenyan Mwananchi, we are here and the time will tell. But I can tell you, the forests remains, the markets remains the same. But the different is only the forests. Can be from Mount Kenya, can be from Kisumu, can be from anywhere else. But let me tell you the truth. The fact where Kenyans are heading is that not unless the burden that is being carried by Mwananchi, any party, whether it is from Kenya Kwanza, whether it is from Azimio, or any other person who is looking for a vote from Wajiko, either or the sitting government, not unless they sit down and come up with a policy of how to lift burdens from Mwananchi. And that is why the other time I was here, I was saying, if the government can enlarge the tax base, you know, you bring down the tax percentage, you enlarge the base. You try to attract as many Kenyans as possible. You try to attract as many big fishes to pay taxes as possible. You try to bring across a phenomenal issue that will make Kenyans to accommodate what to jijenge, to lipa ushuru to jijenge. You know, that can be the only solution. Number two, we come up with the policies of how we can accommodate investors. That's another issue. Because our taxes are so many. We have got so many taxes. You find an investor comes in and you find within the first 1 or 2 months or 3 months, he or she cannot be able to continue. Yet he has got invested a lot of money in that country. Because the business environment is too much in terms of taxes. You find if you get you get anything that you want to do in this country. For example, you want to invest in banking, you have to get an approval from the central bank as a regulator. You want to invest on media, you have to go to CAK for an approval because they are the regulators. They get a lot of, like, you pay the license, you pay this license, you pay the other license, you pay the other license, you pay the other license. Then again, the employees that you have employed, you have to pay them for pay as you earn. That is 30% of whatever you are giving them. That is an NHIF, that is NSSF, you know. So you find the burden is too large for a common mwananchi. Number 3, the government should come back to her own senses and come up with a proposal of how Kenyans can enlarge their agricultural basis. Because if a country cannot be able to feed her citizens, then what kind of a country is this? That is a major problem. We saw during the COVID time, just a single lemon, because every lemon was coming from Tanzania. And there was an issue between the Kenyan government and the Tanzania government over the certification of COVID-19 across the borders. So there was a lot of issues in between. And by the end of the day, so much happened. You find at least a single lemon could cost Kenya that shilling. Just a single lemon. What are we talking about? We are talking about that our agricultural base is questionable. We rely so much on our neighboring country in terms of food. You know? But if we can go back, to our own roots, because agriculture is the backbone of every country's economy. Every country's economy. And that is why you find some countries like Israel, they try so much, yet you can imagine their weather.
Yes,
but they try too much. But we as a Kenyan, we are blessed by the Almighty God. We have got a very wonderful country. The weather is good. But if the government can come back and craft some policies that will enable Wajiko, just a farmer, to get and to get some kind of a relief, and encourage as many youth as possible in terms of farming or agriculture, you can tell me that whatever we are talking about, whether it is bottom up or whether it is whatever is kind of a method, it can work.
Yes. Now, talking about agriculture, because I do believe that our country is, or rather should be, very, very dependent on agriculture, especially in terms of the food security of our people. What more do you think the government should do that it's not yet doing to support the sector in the coming years?
If, in my humble view, if I could meet somebody like C.S. Munya, who is in charge of agriculture, I would suggest to him some clear proposals.
You never know, maybe he's watching.
No. That is why I'm sending this. I am on national TV. That's why I'm sending this signal.
Yes.
In a country whereby her own citizens will feel they are comfortable, is a country where the citizens are just full. They have got enough food. They have got everything that you would need. And that is why you find some countries, their economy is too tight, simply because they put a lot of money in terms of agriculture. Right now, not unless God forbid, we are heading to doom. Ask me why. The government allowed so many mushrooming companies. They are calling large agents and large companies. You know? There before used to have a tract of land, like in India. A tract of land, whereby if you are given this piece of land, your sole duty is to farm. We used to have a very tract land for kahawa, for coffee, coffee estates in Kiabu, coffee estates in Murang'a. Today, those are what we are calling maguta, something, plots, maguta. Today, it has been subdivided into plots. It was an agricultural land. It has been converted into a commercial thing. Yes, it is good for that whatever we are mentioning of a commercial. But we have less forgotten that we will keep on looking for food. Where shall we get that food? Where shall we get that food? So if I were Munya, the CS Munya, I could have drafted some serious policies whereby you find no one who holds more than 5 acres of land and the land lies idle. The policy should attract any other person to be given that piece of land, even if it's on a soft lease, to do agriculture. If you go to Ukabani, there are so many things that are coming from Ukabani nowadays. There is honey, there are so much things that are coming from there. If you come to central Kenya today, where that problem is a very big problem, the land was so much subdivided in plots. But if those big chunks of land can be utilized fully for agricultural purposes, yes, if the coffee is not doing, who has bad you not to do any other thing? If the tea is not doing, you can change with the government policy and guidelines to do any other thing. You can venture into dairy. You can venture into any other thing. But let me tell you, my brother, it is until we will go back to our roots. And our roots, only one root, it is agriculture. Number 3, we are 50 plus years of independence. The issue of fertilizer, we should not keep on importing fertilizer. In my humble view, as much as the government is doing a lot to invest on roads, to invest on any other thing, the same government could have done a lot in investing in agriculture. What do I mean? I mean this, that in this country, we could be having a very big fertilizer companies, manufacturing companies in this country, very big ones. And you know what? You lower down the taxes for fertilizer, for agricultural inputs, whether it is insecticides, whether it is anything, you just lower down. Even you can lower down. Some countries, they have lowered down it to even to 0. In terms of taxes, 0. And I mean 0. Yeah, you buy a tractor, you're gonna go and farm, and you get a 0 taxes. You pay any taxes because of that. You are doing a value addition for your tea. You are given some kind of by the favors by the government, thou that you can be able to continue doing it. I can tell you, my brother, the only sector in this country that will absorb nearly every person, whether you are coming from college or from where, it's only agriculture. Yes.
No, those are quite some bold claims, and we may be getting into them a little later on, as well as talking about Honorable Alfred Mutua's interest in the Deputy President's spot, that is the running mate position. Does that complicate things for Honorable Raila Odinga within the Azimio team, and will it have an impact on his relationship with Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka? But of course, that will be coming up after this short commercial break. The hotspot segment of the morning dew right here on Daesak TV. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Now I have with me on set Bona Daniel Thuku, and we are looking at matters politically, and he is very, very vocal, and especially I find you to be I'm looking for the word to say that you are quite vibrant, and I think you have some very, very valid suggestions as to what the government should do, to ease the burden that is on the shoulders of Kenyans, as well as extremely honest, because it's not a lot of people we have had on set who have been so bold as to say that life will get harder, and there is nothing that the economic models being proposed to us by our political leaders will do to help us in that aspect. Now, let us talk about a bit about the deputy president. We have seen, especially in the recent past, he has been coming out to, address issues against what the government is proposing, or rather putting out there. He came out to, address the issue of the lack of fuel within the country, putting the blame entirely on the government and not on what the government was saying. And then he has come out again to talk about the budget as it is in the newspaper, that is the budget proposal. So do you think, are you of the opinion, as many other Kenyans are, that the deputy president has taken up the role of the opposition leader? And how will this affect his campaigns going forward?
Okay, now, this is a democratic elected deputy president.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you are aware, after promulgation of our constitution 2010, there before we used to have a vice president. Vice president was just a presidential appointee. And being a presidential appointee, he could be sacked at any time by the same boss.
Mm-hmm.
But when we did this, our constitution 2010, and I have said there before, it's a good document. If at all, the same document can be well implemented without having some self-centered people here and there. You find somebody who is purely want to do this for the purposes of Kenyans. Now, the art of presidency now occupies the president and the leader of every business for the government of Kenya. He is the leader of the armed forces of the Kenya. So we are talking of the head of state as a president. Rather, there again, we have got his own deputy president. This guy is also a very, very powerful person in the land, second in command, and again a very powerful person. Why? Because in our constitution talks of the office of president. So without within the office of the president, without the deputy president, then again the office of the president is not full as it is required or enshrined in our constitution. Now, after these two so-called handshake, they used for the first time Mr. President and Mr. Deputy President. They used to have a very wonderful time together. These are the guys we emulated.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see at a certain glance they could wear even the same shirts. They could wear the same color of the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. The same color of the ties. If I even the outfit itself, it was almost the same. They were doing their own together, their own things together. And that is why you find there is a lot that was achieved on their first term by these two people. Then again, immediately after the second term, I don't know what happened. There was this handshake. Okay, Mr. President, according to his own wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
he saw it worthy. And that was, for me, it was just a brilliant and a wonderful thing that he did. I salute you, Mr. President. He decided to just go to his own opposition leader, Raila Amolo Odinga. Why? No, for the purpose of this country. Yes, you are the president. You know what happened after that? There was that Nini Shaborik oath taking at Uhuru Park.
Yes, the swearing in of the people's president.
Of the people's president. There was a lot. And what he did very excellently to go back and have a discussion with his opposer, who was Mr. Raila Amolo Odinga. In fact, it is on public domain. Even others, I can't remember how they used to call themselves, Akina Musalia Mudavadi, Akina Kalonzo, Akina Betagula, you know.
The NASA team.
The NASA team, thank you. The NASA team was not even aware, as they normally say, that they were not even aware. Thank God, because the Mr. Deputy President, in one occasion or the other, has been saying that Raila Amolo Odinga tried to reach me, so because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it happened anyway. And we thank God, because it really happened for the welfare and the goodness of this country.
Yes.
You cannot be able to govern a country that is torn apart. You cannot.
But there are those people who say that with the inclusion of the opposition into the government, that is what has resulted in, or rather has played a part in the cost of living for all Kenyans being as high as it is.
Now, as I go back to your first question now, the two, they used to enjoy both the presidency and the deputy presidency. Now, the other third person has just come in. What was the role of Raila Amolo Odinga? The role of Raila Amolo Odinga was now to put the government of the day onto her toes, you know, as an opposition leader.
Yes.
But right now, the handshake brought everything, turned everything around. You know, it turned around. So, as the Mr. President was doing it, he was doing it just for the purposes of governing this country. But however, everything that comes in must come in with a price. We should not forget that the peace is so paramount. Peace, Kelvin, is so much paramount, more than any other thing in any government, in anywhere in the world. For example, look whatever is happening right now in Ukraine. Ukraine was one of the best countries, but unfortunately it has been invaded by Russians. You know, right now, what about the peace that Ukrainians they used to enjoy? You find right now it is no more. There is no peace. There is nothing important in everything than peace. So when Mr. President reached out to his opposition leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, he did it for only one thing, for the purposes of peace. I am not aware, but it is also on a public domain that we have heard Mr. President say, I requested my deputy and I told him that I am entitled to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know? But I'm saying this. Peace is so much paramount and is so much important. But nevertheless, maybe now the Mr. Deputy President, as you have asked me that question, right now it is vivid that he has taken over now the position of being, the position of the opposition leader. So that is why whatever the government is doing, most likely he is opposing. But they don't even forget that we are electioneering period. So electioneering period means whatever the kind of whatever I can try to frontier to Ncic just to hear me and to make me afloat. That is the only thing that I need. And it will continue until August 9 when we shall cast our ballots. that we are expecting so much in between now and August 9.
Yes, and there's this new tactic that he has embraced. This one of, basically playing the role of an opposition leader to the government. How do you think that will impact his candidacy for the president? Will it earn him more votes from Kenyans because he seemingly he seems to be on their sides, or is it something that will drive people towards, viewing him as more of an opposition leader than a leader of government?
Allow me to say this. Whatever he is doing at the moment, he is doing it solely to convert people or to make people to believe in him. I have told you we are on an electioneering mood. At the moment, whatever you talk, whatever maybe Kevin will talk, I will water it down elsewhere. Simply because I am looking for votes and I'm hunting votes from Ncic. Now, it is also on a public domain. We have seen Mr. President coming out strong and saying, I am supporting Raila Amolo Odinga to be my successor. Is it not on a public domain? It is.
It is, yes.
Now, where is now the second in command? If we did all whatever we did with you, there were promises that we are even done publicly. Tano yangu, kumi yangu, na kumi
yako.
Na kumi yako. You remember there is such a thing. And now, a time has come that whatever you are expecting, it is not there. You have been for it is not even there. What can you do? Of course, you have to start coming up down and re-strategizing again. So what he has done, he has re-strategized himself again. And what kind of a strategy he could apply? He could only apply a strategy of being the opposition leader as per now. Yes, as a opposition leader as per now, just to put on to the government which they founded together with his boss. That is nothing new. That is what exactly he could have done. Yes, it is either in a family circle. It is either the husband and the wife and the daughter or the son. If the wife, the roles of wife has been assumed by the daughter or the son, what will happen with the wife? Automatically she become the opposition leader in the family. Of course.
I like that allegory. Anyway, if we just move on to the story in the Standard front page, that is Ruto hits out at NCIC over hate speech list. There are certain words that the NCIC, there's a list that the NCIC released over the weekend about these words that will be considered hate speech if they are used in the rallies. So are you for or are you against that move, against the use that is of those words?
Kelvin, we should be extremely cautious, with what we normally speak. Kenya is a sovereign country. People should not even forget that the 10th of August we will be still in Kenya. We are going nowhere. You want to tell me the Kenya will just itafika mwisho on 8th on 9th of August? No. The life will continue. So whatever we are doing at the moment, in my humble view, the NCIC is a mandated commission via our constitution. It is just enshrined in our constitution. What is the sole mandate? That is whatever they are doing, that is what they are supposed to do. But I normally wonder, where should such a commission be there in a country that has been over 50 years old of independence? Just to remind you that you should not use this word because the others will perceive it as a ABCD. You should not use these songs because the others will perceive it as this thing. And hapa na pale, hapa na pale, hapa na pale. Let me tell you the truth. And my dear viewers should take these things seriously. Kenya, it is for us all. Hii nchi yetu yote. Is only God who holds the title deed for this country. Only God himself. God himself is the one who holds the title deed for this country. It is God himself. Not even Mr. President. The title of this country belongs to God. Yes. And that is why he put us in this country, all of us. All communities that we are here, we normally call ourselves Kenyans. Because we belong to this country called Kenya, and we were given this country by our Almighty God. On the date called 10th, 11th, 12th of August, September, October, November, and December 2022, Kenya will continue. We'll continue and we'll be here. Why should somebody then again fight about something that can erupt a problem within a neighbor and a neighbor? You know? And I think towards and in the near future, as I was talking of policies, the government should come up with a very tough policies. Whenever somebody assumes to take a mic, he should swear a very irrevocable affidavit that I am intending to vie for this kind of a seat. Whether it is a gubernatorial seat, whether it's a senatorial seat, whether it is a county assembly member seat, whether it is women representative seat, or whether it is a member of parliament seat. Someone should swear a very strong, irrevocable affidavit. You know, that whosoever, any kind of word that I will speak in any rally, everywhere, if at all that thing can be perceived as a hate speech, sorry, I will take the board on my hand. Sorry, because we belong to this country. We don't want to ban this country as it happened in 2008. You can imagine what happened in Rwanda. It was yeah, it can also happen. And that is why we should be extremely careful with what we are talking, what we are saying. I mean this. And let me go back to a family level. If a mother can be having an insultive words towards the husband, you want to tell me the daughters, the children respect their father? Just a simple question. If the mother herself or the father himself hold insultive words to the either mother or the father, what about the stake of the children?
I don't think they will be in a position to respect the
They are not in a position to respect. So what kind of a family will be, what kind of family will it be? It will be just that family will be normal. And that is, you find there is not even a gate to the family. Somebody can just use any route to get in and to get out. Because there is no any rule of law towards that family. There is no any regulations towards that family. If somebody tells you, you are the father, go and feed the pigs, I'm saying, no, I will go and wash the vehicle. I will, ABC, everything will be just contrary. And that one, where there is no peace, where there is no cohesion, where there is no oneness, I can tell you, our country, it is easy that we can ditch in a problem. But let every person, deputy president, or Raila Amolo Odinga, or any other person, any aspirant, hata kama kwako na aspirant kwako kwa nyumba, be mindful of your words. What kind of a country will you lead, even if you are sent to be the next president? I do ask myself, Raila, if the country will be ungovernable country, how will you govern it? Mr. Deputy President William Ruto, if the country will be torn apart, how will you govern the same country? That is a simple question I do ask myself. So let them parade their pan troops, soldiers, and tell them, no, we are peace seekers. We are peace drivers. We are peace speakers. And we shall not utter any word that can bring any acrimony or any problem to our people. That is only kind of, and again, dear viewer and Kenyans, my humble dear Kenyans, Kenya is a democratic country. If I wish to vote for candidate B, and you wish to vote for candidate A, let's not argue. It is your own right. Go and do it. It is my own right to go and do it. So why do we keep on bringing a lot of rivalry? Because we are about to go to elections. Elections is not about rivalry. Elections is all about changing our country into better. That is what we normally do. We normally go to vote so that we can bring in good people. We can vote in good people. We can change our race. We can change our way of living. Because, as I have said, my brother, you may be talented by God to see things differently. I may be talented by God to see things differently from you or any other person. But the moment you come in and we sit together in oneness, in any oneness, you front your idea, I will give out my idea, any other person will give him or her own idea, and we shall evaluate all those ideas on the table. Then again, we shall come up with a very strategic way of doing things. That is the only thing. And my humble prayer is this only. My humble prayer is that until when, my dear Kenyans, shall we not be divided? Whenever 5 years is too little amount of time. Yakoba, in every 5 years we are divided because there is an election. And you know, after every 5 years we are again divided because there is an election. Kuna hii, kuna ile, kuna hii, kuna ile. Right now, there is an election that is presidential election that is going on in France. France. And I think they went to ballot yesterday. But you cannot hear whatever in France, whatever we are hearing today here in Kenya. Every person is so busy building that nation. If you are an industrialist, they are so busy producing products to be consumed by French. And the rest, and the rest, and the rest, and the rest. But in Kenya, the moment we get in, and you know, siasa starts September this year. Now, you leave what you are doing. Now you leave what I am doing. I leave what I am doing. Any other person leave what he is doing for only few days and exactly for one day called election day. So our economy now gets too bad. Even if how subsidies can be given by the government and people are not working, how will the economy grow? So it is upon now the leaders of the day to humbly educate Kenyans. Yeah? You know, I normally see things I wonder. Every day there is a rally. You find there is a very big cloud here, there is a very big cloud there, there is a very big cloud there. You may ask yourself, how that big cloud you have pulled today, and that how big cloud the other guy pulled yesterday. You know, so they left what they were to do that particular day to come and follow you. I have been thinking, if the government can come up with the policies, if you want to do your campaign, you'll be given in no national televisions, be given a chance. Go and talk whatever you do to Kenyans there.
They're basically selling your manifesto.
Sell your manifesto there. Let Kenyans work. Let that mama boga work. Lakini wewe unaenda unasimamisha magari yako 100 hapo. Mama boga atafanya nini hapo? Atauzia nani?
Indeed, they do have quite an impact on our economy every time they go visit a certain place. For instance, if you look at the kind of crowds that had showed up to Karuri in Banana yesterday, that is in Kiambu County, when the deputy president was there, it is clear to see that not even a lot of shops could have been open at the time because they were also afraid of the security of their goods.
Yeah, of their goods.
Yes, now we will continue with this conversation, Bonaduku, after this short break. Welcome back to the Morning Deal. This is, of course, the hotspot segment where we get to look at matters politics. Now, before we go back into politics, let me remind you that you do stand a chance to win 3 million plus 250,000 shillings guaranteed prizes. That is through Lotto in their campaign. This time it's called Dosika Hi Pasaka na Lotto. Now, how do you do this? You can enter the draw by sending your 99 shillings to 777 through paybill, account name, fit it in as DTV. Once again, 777 99 bob only, fit in your account name as DTV, and you could be the one to walk away with 250k during each one of the draws. They have 4 draws during the day. There is the 10 a.m. draw, which is coming up in little over an hour, and then there is the 2 p.m. draw, the 6 p.m. draw, and the 10 p.m. draw. And in each one of these draws, you stand a chance to win amazing cash prizes. Once again, 777 account name is DTV, and only 99 shillings could get you 250k to spend this Easter holiday. Now, Kuria, we were talking about the NCIC and the list of hate speech that they have released of words that should not be used in the campaigns by any one of our political leaders. So other than this, what else do you feel that the NCIC should do to, enforce peace during this period and even after? As you said, there will be 10th, 11th, and now the way to December.
I think Reverend Combias and his commission, in my humble view, as much as this country belongs to us all and we shall live many days to come, he should come out very clearly, because in my humble view is that he should be having a lot of road shows across the country to sensitize people how to do their things correctively. It is not about the elections or electioneering period or any other time. But you find there is a lot that is lacking. Peace is lacking within our family circles and the rest and the rest and the rest. Every day you hear, and sorry to say this, and I'm very sorry for what happened with people from Kadara Moranga, whereby a whole family of 6 lost their lives because of a cell phone. So what does it mean? There was a problem within the peace of that circle of the family. So as much as the peace is required, it should start directly from the family level. Education starts from a family level. That is why your father, my mother, and the rest, they took us to school. They took that obligation of taking us to school. Why? Because it started from a family level. If everything can be leveled from a back to a family level, I am double sure that thing can be able to prosper and can be able to be very much effective. Now, for my dear brothers and sisters that hold that office of NCIC, at the moment they have got a long way to go. We normally see them during at this time of elections. But other times where there is no elections, we don't see them. This should be a continuous thing. Yeah, they should come up with the policies on how to educate people, how to live well back in their families. They should be in a position to continue and preaching peace where there is a warring communities like in Baringo and the rest. But we normally see them whenever the campaign takes stock. In a campaign period, I'm not so much interested with what you can say, but I'm so much interested by what I can counter what you said, you know, because that is the issue of election. Like those are the campaigns issues, and we are fond of them. But my half of view is this: let that commission. We see the heart of the commission even after the election, not during the time of election, even way before. Way before. Way before. Because where you went to school, where I went to school, where everybody went to school, what we were taught, 1 + 1 = 2. So nobody can tell you otherwise. And that is how the life is. Having one ball pen, another one ball pen, those are 2 ball pens. Now, if that thing can be done across way back from our school levels, that living in peace with one another, it is too paramount. It's like, yes, it is a must. You know, it's a must. That thing can bring a lot of cohesions in the future. And that is to find there are so many things that happens, zinakaa, house key. Lakini whenever it comes to a time of electioneering, you find now my brother Reverend Kobe and his team, they are up. But where were they for the last 5 years? What kind of education they have done to Kenyans? What kind of sensitizations have they done to Kenyans? You know, all those has been ringing in my mind. So a challenge is this: how can they pull up their socks? We don't want to see you NSIC during campaign time. We want to see you always. We want to see now national televisions covering your stories when you are in Meru, talking to a school guys or to a certain high schools in Muranga, in Kiabu, and the rest. Especially I could see there was a lot for them to preach during when there was a menace of school burning. You know? If at all the CIC, we could have seen them going to a certain schools, talking to students, tell them about peace, living together, not to do school burnings and the rest. It could have brought a lot of impact to our dear Kenyans. But we normally see them. I can tell you before God, not unless God forbid and they change and come up with the new policies and formulas. After 9th of August, we shall see them again during the campaign of 2027. So during that 5 years, people normally wonder, where are they? What are they doing? So they normally vanish during that time. But we normally, if it could have been better, we see and we keep on seeing them every day, every week, every month, you know, all those things, because peace is monumental and it is so much important. So we continue seeing them preaching peace, holding rallies, going around this country to tell people how they can live in peace, how they can work in peace, how they can actually intermingle themselves peacefully. I think that could be the best thing possible for NCIC. Otherwise, as per now, whatever they are obliged to do, let them continue with their legal obligations, because they are obligated to do that. That is the law, and have been given that power to do whatever they are supposed to do within the law. May I them continue, and I do wish them all the best as they continue. I have been saying this. Biblically, much given, much is expected. So whenever every person is in a certain authority, there is a lot that is expected of him or her within that seat of that authority. So much, biblically much given, much expected. We are expecting a lot from you, NCIC, to make sure, Yakoba, as we go forward, there shall be no any bloodshed, there shall be no any way of unruliness during the campaign and after the election. And we shall continue this country. As I have said earlier, this country belongs to us all. And again, we will be here and we'll be living here. Yes. How can we be doing, how do I pray that we can right now be doing a lot to pump to our economy. Right now, to pump to our economy. Because what will happen in September? What will happen in October? What will happen in November and December? And January thereof? People should understand we are going nowhere. Yeah. And leaving what you are doing currently because of this period of 3 months, in fact, that is, we have forgotten ourselves. Number 3, as I have told you, how can we craft kind of policies? Hata mwanasiasa anaweza simama in a market akose mtu wa kumfuata, hata wa kumsikiza, kwa sababu every person is busy. Every person is very busy. And that is why I was telling you, it is only if we can go back to the root of agriculture. Agriculture and value addition. Yes, you find, Kevin, young men and women in this country, because God has given us enough soil. We thank God because now the government is doing a lot for giving people pure water, water for farming and water for drinking. You know, and I can tell you before God, people can be as busy as possible. This country, this is a very rich country. We can do a lot. We can do a lot. And I can tell you before God, we can do a lot. We can do a lot if we can go back to agriculture. Yes, we can go to agriculture. And I thank God, Yakoba, one day, God will elevate a leader who will educate Kenyans how to do farming and how to do a commercial farming, regardless the size of your farm. But you can do it commercially. You feed yourself, you feed even the rest of the community, because the population keeps on growing. Keeps on growing. The population is still growing. The population currently is still growing. And how are we going to feed the growing population? It's only if God can allow and give someone a clear mind on how to articulate the policies of agriculture in this country. We continue doing it. And then, you know, this is a kind of a thing that can employ as many people as possible. As many people as possible. If the weather is good for grapes, go. Let the government give all what it is required. Let the government alleviate that problem for Wajikos from that locality and give them a lot of grapes, seedlings to go and plant. Look for a market of the grapes, you know, aftermath. If at all in Nyandarua, we have got a lot of potatoes in Nyandarua. Let the government come up with a very forcible ways of doing a value addition towards those potatoes. You know, like in Denmark. You know, Denmark produces a lot of potatoes anyway. And it is like a cash crop. Yeah, and Denmark today, they can give us, imagine, ni msaada tu wanaweza tusaidia, watupatie. But if at all in northern part and south rift, whereby it is a basket for food basket for this country in terms of maize. Let these people be assisted by the government fully. You are talking of giving us a fertilizer at a cost of 6,000, 3,000. Let the fertilizer cost even zero. Let be given 0 for bags of fertilizer. Let the government give them all whatever they need to farm.
Yes, but then again, there are the questions of the viability of such fertilizers, because some people are saying that the fertilizer may be indeed of low quality. It may not be as of standard, you know, like what farmers are used to using. But I do get your point. But I think the one thing that would possibly change the face of our politics in the country is if we venture away from emotive politics. Do you agree?
I agree, 100%. I am looking forward for a day, even a presidential candidate will pass by a certain market and nobody will notice. Yes, no one will notice.
Yes. So how then do you think we can do this?
By occupying the minds of young people fully. You know one thing, hata mzungu husema, an idle mind is devil's workshop. You know our people are so idle. I can tell you our people are so idle. Let the government comes with a certain policies to occupy their minds. To occupy their minds fully. Yes, to occupy their minds fully. If today, this morning, for example, just an example, if today, this morning, a certain 100 youth, a group of 100 members, they could have walked up towards their own farming activities. A group of 100 youth. You want to tell me, Kevin, they can leave what they are doing because somebody is passing by?
No, I don't think they would. But then
They cannot. They are so busy because whatever they are doing is their livelihood. So what can you do if somebody is gonna do campaigns ataenda mahali wako uko? Lakini sio, it's not like vice versa. Today unaona some member of any aspirant is passing by. Yeah? You find the cloud is too big. You find where did these people came from? You know, so may God help us. And may God actually help us to understand only one policy. That God blesses the work of your hands. It is only work of your hands that God blesses. Yeah, it is not anything else. It is work of your hands. The promise of God lies on the work of your hands.
Yes, and I do like your words, Bono Daniel, because they are especially seem to be an echo from the words of Brian Kimari, that is a guest that we had on Friday on set, and we were talking about violence and the sustainability of peace within our country, especially during the electioneering period. And he basically said the same thing that you're saying. And of course, that conversation is on our YouTube channel at Daesak TV, and you can go to watch it there, get to listen to the kind of sentiments that he had. Now, we are running out of time. But before we finally end the show, just a humble request to you, sir, to make your final submissions to the Kenyans out there, that is our viewers.
My humble dear Kenyans, I have said before and I will repeat it again, and given a chance again I will repeat it, that we are here to stay. Kenya is our country given by God, and we will be there even after 9th of this election. So don't turn against your neighbor. Don't turn against your husband. Don't turn against your wife. Every person has got his or her own democratic rights. Number 2, don't leave what you are doing because of campaigns, because of this kind of menace of the campaigns. You will just go back to where you were. If you are a shopkeeper, continue working. Continue selling bread and sugar. If you are a farmer, continue with the farm activities. Don't abandon what you have been doing. If you are Mama Boga, continue selling. If you are a transporter, continue transporting. Whatever God has given you, the only arithmetic promise is that God blesses the work of your hands. It is only the work of your hands that can be blessed. And it is only the work of your hands that changes everything. So, number 3, please mind your neighbor. Don't hurt anybody. We'll be here to live, and we will be here for many other days. Our future generation will be here. What kind of impact shall we leave behind? Remember, every step leaves back. Everything leaves back as steps behind. So, what kind of steps, footsteps that we shall follow you with? Please, my brothers and my sisters and my dear Kenyans, as we continue with this kind of election, because God has given us power to choose our next set of leaders, do it wisely and don't engage in violence of any kind. Kevins, this is a wonderful country, and we are blessed to have this country. So, my dear viewer, may God bless you and may God keep you. And even after this, my honorable leaders who are vying for different seats, please do it cautiously. Don't ignite anything through your tongue. Make sure kwamba you require a good and harmonized country to govern. And we shall be there. If at all you sell your own ideas, your own policies, your own agendas, you do it peacefully. And by so doing, even God himself shall bring so many people to you, because only God can convince any person to vote for you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Bwana Kuria. That is a very, very wonderful message to pass out to the Kenyans, especially at a time like this. Now, that marks the end of our Morning Dew show this morning.